Yes, we are live, good people. Oh my goodness. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. We are in the building. We back. And I just want to let the good people know I got some sleep. Because if you were online just recently, what was that? Was that yesterday? If you watched the video, your boy was falling asleep. They probably thought, they said, what happened? You're looking like Pookie up there, brother. Is something calling you? Do you got something you need to discuss? Do you need to make a video about yourself? Look like you're falling asleep in the video. I have been running. You know, I do the morning show here in Philadelphia. I work as a professor in the Department of Africology and African American Studies at Temple University under the guidance and leadership of the great Dr. Molefi Kete Asante, who is the first person in the world to create a PhD program in African American Studies. And I'm honored and privileged, and it's my pleasure to work with the great Boyce Watkins on the Fly Nubian Queens platform and also FlyNubianKingTV.com platform. You want to get your shopping popping? ShopFNQ.com. You want to get your business right? FlyNubianBusiness.com. Get your money right? FlyNubianMoney.com. Text Queens at 31996 and make sure you stay up in the mix. But yo, who's in it? Miss Ebony shouts out. We were at got a pillow behind me. I'm gonna leave behind me. We got a trip we had. We went to Hampton and we were there at Fort Comfort. Fort Comfort in Virginia. We just went there on Saturday and we did a commemoration with the Molefi Kete Asante Institute. You can put the MKA Institute and you can find that Molefi Kete Asante Institute. And we're on Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia. We did a whole ceremony and ritual for the ancestors. 1619, the first enslaved Africans arrived. 20 odd Negroes. That's what it said. 20 something odd Negroes, right? And they didn't have names. So we did a naming ceremony of the great Dr. Amma Mazama, the author of the Afrocentric. Let me make sure I give you all these books today. I feel like going hard with the books today. I feel like going hard with the books today. I'm going to talk this freestyle and these bars, but Jay-Z don't write nothing down. So I got to make sure as I balance out these Jay-Z bars talking about gentrification and Nipsey freestyle that I keep that professorial focus at the same time, because that's what makes me unique. Everybody could talk about the freestyle, but everybody can't reach back like that and bang, bang, bang with the books, right? So the Afrocentric paradigm, Dr. Amma Mazama was a big part of the ritual at Fort Comfort. Y'all better like, subscribe, and share. Do that there. Your boys in the building. Yeah. Started off poor with plans to endure. Now I'm on tour, spreading love to all. Gotta go hard, these videos so raw. I'm like, shout out on them hot back blocks, so no bro, don't get who ain't feeling us. Hey, can't enter us. Soon you'll be capping gal like who really is us coming up. Mind on our bread and they scared of us. About to go and change the world. Be prepared for us. Just know we royalty. Ooh, kill them softly. They try to put me in a box. That's where they lost me. Too flossy and too thorough to move like these weirdos give up. I'm like, hell no, to 100 from 0. Moving real quick. Yo, chill. I got work to do. Bars, rapping professor. Nobody do it better. But the point I was making was we went there to Fort Comfort. 1619 to 2019 marks 400 years. First enslaved Africans reached the shores of Virginia. We looked over onto the waters from which our ancestors came, and it was just a great opportunity and experience to reconnect. We always talk about connecting with the ancestors. If you don't call their names, if you don't do rituals, if there are no shrines, if there is no libations, then please don't wonder why certain people are in control, because you're not even reclaiming that which is yours. Like Maxine Water reclaims her time. We need some Africans to reclaim their shrine. We need some Africans to reclaim their African mind. Afrocentricity is not only an ideology, methodology, but a way to regain sanity. Shouts out to the great Dr. Molefi Kete Asante, because before that, the world didn't have a doctoral program where we could even study ourselves, even though African people, 2/3 of human history occurred on the continent of Africa, and we gave the world mathematics, science, economics, and medicine, astrology, and astronomy, and architecture, and even the university system. They call it class a course. A course is a block in a pyramid. The top is called the capstone course. The capstone is the triangle part of a pyramid, an African engineered, architecturally inspired educational system. And you got Black children in the inner cities throughout this nation talk about college ain't for me. I say you gave the world college. I don't care what they're doing down in Atlantic City or Las Vegas talking about Luxor. They got Waset. The Greeks called it Luxor. It already been built though. All they do is change the sign. Let me stop playing with y'all. Let's get to these bars. get into these bars. So Jay-Z drops a classic freestyle, crack classic. He says, gentrify your own hood before these people do it. Claim eminent domain and have your peoples moving. That's the part we're really gonna focus on. That's a small glimpse into what Nipsey was doing. If anybody's still confused about what he was doing, then he says, y'all don't hear me though. And he brought it back, but I'm not gonna do all that. The neighborhood is designed to keep us trapped. They redline us so property declines if you live by blacks. They depress the asset and take the property back. It's a ruthless but a genius plan, in fact. So now we fighting over scraps. Crabs in the barrel, but crabs don't belong in the barrel, but they ain't never tell us that. So in the barrel, we're going to act like we act. We could easily get out the barrel if we stand on each other's backs. Whoever gets on top, as long as they stay attached, they're going to pull everybody out. I was trying to do just that. I told neighborhood Nipsey, stay close. There's $100 million on your schedule. Lay low. Woo! Tell your team to be on point in the places that they go. I never dreamed he'd get killed in the place that he called home. How we going to get in power if we kill the source? Get it? Source, the power, source. How we going to get in power if we kill the source? Y'all like to run off on the plug. See the plug, power, source. Some of y'all don't break down bars like this. Don't act like everybody knew. Everybody don't rap like this. So everybody don't just break down bars naturally. If you just the type to decipher all the bars like Fruit Ninja where you just chop it up and it all fall in line, that's good for you. But there might be some people in here who don't spit it like that. And they're like, oh, I see. Cute. Cool. I see what he did there. So just respect the game. How you going to get to the power if you kill the source? Y'all run off on the plug. So, of course, that ain't lit. Lit. Plug, source, power. I love what Jay-Z does. The monster of the double entendres. This ain't it. That's a means to an end. Me and my team was playing the plug ahead of plan. Sometimes we was only making 1,000 a joint. That ain't no money, but that ain't the main point. So those 92 bricks was only 92,000. So y'all can close your mouths. It ain't nothing for y'all to wow. But it's something. But it is something to study. We was chasing our goals, not chasing money, chasing hoes. We find that funny. I pull up in that role that gonna want me, but I don't do it for hoes. I want a wife, somebody to bounce these ideas off at night. I'll be going to sleep, hoping Nip visit me. That young kid had a lot of jewels to split with me. Whew, and we ain't gonna leave the hood physically, but we gotta leave that mentally. So Jay-Z does it again. Jay-Z does it again. Shifts the paradigm the same way he did in, what's the song? DOA, Death of Auto-Tune. When everybody was T-Paining too much. Y'all T-Paining too much. And he just came out and in one fell creative swoop, shifted the entire paradigm. Sort of like when everybody was wearing jerseys and then Jay-Z said, I can't wear jerseys. I'm 30 plus. Give me a crisp, like the button up. And it's like, yo, button ups. We left. We started putting shoes on, took off the oversized jersey dresses, right? And we just changed the Jay-Z has a way of coming in, shifting the culture. And the one time that I think Nas did it effectively and even more effectively than Jay was during a time when Nas said, hip hop is dead. And the whole industry paid attention to it. Everybody from Lil Wayne, even on the albums, like I'm alive, right? And everybody, really started responding. So KRS One said, if you could put your finger on the pulse of the conversation of the industry and of the larger society, it's easier for you to make a hit record. Think The Message. Think Fight the Power at a time just before the civil unrest of Rodney King boiled over into the uprising and rebellion in 92. If you could just feel what's going on, so people were getting sick of all that auto-tuning and Jay-Z stepped in and did what he did. I'm just dropping jewels, letting y'all know why they call me the rapping professor before I really get into this conversation about gentrification. So just to define terms, because little people don't do. One thing I was wondering about, I was watching the enslaved Africans running on the mills during the plantation era, and I was like, why do people still say run of the mill? Like, it's obvious where it came from. You had these enslaved Africans like doing the hamster wheels and stuff, like making, the mill. I mean, I can find one on my phone. I can show you the picture. But yeah, like why do we glorify that? Why do we even discuss that? People could talk. We talk about words like picnic, but we need to stop saying things like sold up the river. Or sold down the river, but it was up the river, right? Or run of the mill. That's all things that enslaved Africans were doing. So why would we even say that? I'm gonna put slaves running on mill. Just maybe I can put it in the chat as well. Slaves running on mill. Somebody like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, you need to think about it because I said last time, if you weren't here for that conversation about playing hangman. Schools across the country today, there's schools playing hangman. Despite the history of what Ginsburg in the book 100 Years of Lynching, or the book Without Sanctuary, the pictorial depiction of these the lynching errors, and like how do we get to a point where we have a blind spot, a greater blind spot for the murder committed by the ancestors of those in this country that happened here in this country, but we don't have that same blind spot when it comes to something that happened, for say, in Europe or in Germany for 6 years, to be more specific, right? With the Holocaust, we're more sensitive. We wouldn't ever play oven man, and we wouldn't cook people. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be insensitive. So why would we play hangman knowing our history? Where's the cultural sensitivity? Where's the historical understanding and appreciation of what occurred in this country? I don't know, but I'm gonna try to show you a picture in the meantime. Because there were certain instances where enslaved Africans would run on these mills, and they'd have to like hold themselves up. And sometimes they said that the people would lose their grip, and when they slipped, the machine would actually grind people up, and people would lose limbs, and all kind of stuff would happen. But people still say things like "run of the mill." I might make it the thumbnail for a future situation. But I'm gonna talk today about gentrification, history, economics, and the popular culture of Black displacement. I'm gonna give you some context today. I'm gonna go all the way in and get deep. So one thing I like to discuss. I remember Tupac Shakur, when we was talking about reparations, he said, "Time to raise my Black nation, reparations are due." It's true. Caught up in this world, I took advantage of you. Remember in White Man's World, on the Illuminati theory, 7-day theory, Illuminati, White Man's World, Tupac says, "Time to raise my Black nation, reparations are due." So you can't talk about gentrification without talking about reparations, because you say, what's the power that gentrification even has, the potential? How do you just move people out of their own neighborhood? Well, you have people that can get shook up. Emblematic of what happened in Haiti, right? 2010, you got an earthquake. If the infrastructure was in place, absent the colonial tax they had to pay to the French, and people like Girard of Girard College, allegedly taking some of the monies from the legacy of Toussaint Louverture, like this whole idea of without the sound foundation, you're more susceptible to certain things down the line. So the reason why some nations are superpowers and some nations are not is because of some nations were imperialist and colonialist and slave owning, and more militaristic and deceiving in some instances, whatever the case may be. But it's not just happenstance. I'm not able to gentrify you when you don't have the same power to reciprocate same just because. It's because the history dictates that you told me to live here in the first place. The only reason I'm living here in this neighborhood, whether it's Watts, whether it's sections of Chicago, whether it's North Philadelphia, the only reason why Black people are concentrated in any of these cities, these inner cities, is because white people told them, made them, and by threat of murder, and sometimes, beyond threat of duress and coercion, with sundown towns. If you're here after the sun goes down, we will kill you. That is why we have these cities in the first place, to even be moved on, to try to move us out. So you have to contextualize it historically. You have to define terms. You cannot talk gentrification without some understanding of reparations, or at least the need thereof historically. Gentrification is the process of renovating and improving a house or a district so that it conforms to middle class tastes. That's loaded. What do you mean by middle class taste? It doesn't say middle class standards. So this is an economic qualification. This is a qualitative analysis. Okay, an area undergoing rapid gentrification. How are you going to talk about gentrification and not mention race in your definition at all? Come on now, give me a second definition. White people move Black people out. Okay, reparations. The making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to the otherwise helping those who have been wrong. Making of amends for a wrong has been done by paying money, right? Paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. Oh, we're going to get this in. Now, how many of you all in the room today know how Wall Street got started? I know some of y'all know. Let's do a pop quiz. I don't want to do no commercials. Come on now, somebody get in the chat and tell me how Wall Street got started. Y'all don't know? Well, that's why you here. You in the right place today, because now you can tell all your friends to tell 10. I'll bring you back to 1711. Yeah, I go hard. I don't have these books for nothing. 1711, a law appointing a place for the more convenient hiring of slaves. I need to break this down and give this to y'all. I'm going to give this to y'all. Yeah, ain't no one man above the crew. Let's say that in juice. And the authority, same, boom. Let's see how long they let me put it in there. as far as the in the room. I'm gonna give you all the info right here. Boom. Let's see. They put it in there. Paste it. They give it in there. Nope, they sure didn't. Maybe I put too many characters in there. Oh, you can only put 200. I got 3 something. Let's do that, and I'll cut it. Because I want y'all to read this. Look at that. 1711 law appointing a place for more convenient hiring of slaves. The source I'm getting this from. I'm telling you where I get it from so you can get it yourself. Minutes of the Common Council of the City of New York, Volume 2, page 458, December 13th, 1711. And I'm going to give you more of it. Be it ordained by the mayor, recorder, alderman, and assistants of the City of New York, convened in common council, and it is hereby ordained by the authority of the same, that all Negro and Indian slaves that are let out to hire within the city do take up their standing in order to be hired at the market house at Wall Street Slip. Let me put that. This is how you got your Wall Street. Yes, I do see what you're talking about, Mark White. That all Negro and Indian slaves that are let out to hire within this city, they're telling them. So everybody trying to get hired, we got a track for you. This is where y'all going to be. Y'all going to be on Wall Street, the first black gold of the city, right? And of our nation. Let me see, let me put that in there. Too much, 251 out of 250. No problem. I got us. Until such time as they are hired, whereby all persons may know, where to hire slaves as their occasion shall require. That's as for shall require. And also masters discover when their slaves are so hired. So to keep all the checks and balances, to keep the ticker, before there was lights and bright lights, to keep all these things indecent yet in order, with the trafficking of human beings, we will meet at Wall Street to sell the Indians and the African slaves. So when you see bull market, you think bull. When I see that bull downtown, I think it is some bull, right? Yeah, I like that. I like that. Get a trade. Stop playing with the one that wants to keep you a slave. I like that. I'm all for the vocations. Yes, I appreciate that comment. So let's talk this talk. So now you know, you can go 1711. And that's the thing too. It's one thing to say, do you know that Wall Street started with slavery? But no. Now I'm giving it to you. They ask, where did it come from? That's all you gotta say. Minutes from the Common Council of the City of New York, Volume 2, December 13th, 1711. That's it. You can probably Google that and get right what I'm talking about. Copy and paste it anytime they want to know. Because people who got masters and probably doctoral degrees in finance and economics and international business, they don't know this. How you know all this about some stuff? Bear markets, bull markets, red and the black, and you know all the NASDAQ, all this stuff you know. But you don't know how this original wealth was generated. The wealth that you're trading, the wealth that can't be destroyed or created, right? How was it first collected and concentrated, I should say? Not created. How was the original wealth concentrated? Because it existed in Africa. You took the people, it existed in the soils of the New World. But somebody had to till the ground, right? So you got the tilling, you got the factory, you got the network, you got the business, right? And then you get it all together, and you got a superpower that can take you from a colony to a republic, and now you got a superpower in the world. How you talk money if you don't talk how we got our money? I meet people every day. I'm an international business major. I say, how Wall Street get started? Well, the first time they built the building with the bell. Ain't nobody talking about no bells of building. We talking about bid them in, right? We talking about auctioneers, talking about a fine winch, a strapping buck. But you reading books that don't teach you. Okay. I was going to rhyme, but sometimes you got to watch the rhyme. Listen to this. That's what we talking about. Racial inequality in the United States has been described as a 400-year head start. This is just me talking. For whites, which contribute to numerous contemporary financial wealth disparities found along racial lines, many researchers have investigated the degree to which various manifestations of unequal access, marginalization, and other examples of racial oppression have contributed to the current racial realities, including wealth, access to capital, and even gentrification. In the slide that I have here, I have a picture of Jesse Owens when he came back after embarrassing the Nazis in Berlin. And instead of getting all the due credit he deserved and all the sponsorships, they had Jesse Owens racing a darn horse. The man was made to race a horse when he should have been a national treasure and hero. So I'll put some people like, what? I'll just type Jesse Owens races horse. And I'll give you the link. You can watch the actual race on YouTube. Jesse Owens versus a horse. Make sure I turn it down on the audio coming up. Our roving reporter. Okay, let me see what it says. Yep, Jesse Owens racing a horse. Tragic, but real. It happened. Yep, that's right. That's truth, right? There you go. Jesse Owens racing the horse. So that's the slide I used. Who's in the room? Text Queens at 31996. Stay in the mix. FlyNubianQueens.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you listen live and log on. I'm all in the camera. Dag on, bro. If you're gonna be reading with that, bad eyesight, push the darn camera back, brother. You got too much going on. I was like, I got the bifocals on. Let me see what's going on. What are you talking about that, young boy? Back in my day, you can see what. Okay. Show enough, ill will. Shout out Mark White. Convict leasing, yes. So we're gonna get to all that. Tyrone Nully, Asiatic Black Man, peace. Show enough. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's make it do what it do. If you want to get your business right, FlyNubianBusiness.com. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay, y'all on it. Y'all got some likes in there, but 39 people watching, only 12 likes. Okay, so what's the problem? The question I'm gonna seek to answer today, it deals with how has the legacy of racial discrimination and unequal wealth impact gentrification and other aspects of wealth inequality. So Jay-Z was noted as saying, I can't help the poor from one of them, moment of clarity, right? Black Album. So I got rich to get and gave back to me. That's the win-win. I can't help the poor from one of them, so I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. So right or wrong, apparently Jay-Z has a little bit of up from slavery in him. Some Booker T, when it's like, cash down your lots where you are, use your hands, get it in, right? And on the block, they talk about get it out the mud and then get it from the muscle. To contrast lines and ideologies like get it out the mud and get it from the muscle with ideologies promoted by people like Booker T. Washington when he said cast down your buckets where you are, right? And use your hands. See, that's why they call me Rapping Professor. You don't hear people contrasting Booker T with Jay-Z, Booker T with Jay-Z like me. Oh, I love it when I just do. I make it do what it do, but I know you feel the magic, baby. That was in the beginning of Black Republicans when Jay-Z and Nas was on. Okay, what's the problem? I'm going to interrogate it through an Afrocentric lens. What is Afrocentricity? Afrocentricity is viewing African people as subjects, primary subjects in their own culture, in their own historical narratives, not objects on the margins of European analysis on the periphery, simply bit players, subjects instead of objects instead of subjects. So we don't want to just be stand-ins, background, or decoration, or accessories, or tokens. We want to look through our lens and center ourselves in our own experience in cultural and historical narratives. Afrocentricity. Dr. Molefi Kete Asante. Do I got some books? I know I got some books. It's a couple of books. I don't have Afrocentricity right here. I'm using that one all the time. But a picture. That's Doc right there. That's Dr. Molefi Kete Asante. This is a book called Race and Racism. This one's called Rooming in the Master's House. This one's called African Pyramids and Knowledge. Molefi Kete Asante. That's my teacher. He is the author of over 80 books, and he says that Afrocentricity is a way to regain sanity. So what we're going to do here is make sure we utilize the Afrocentric methodology. We're not going to look at it the way they look at it. Some people be talking all this black stuff, but then asking where they got the idea from. They're going to tell me Freud and the boys. Okay. So make sure I check I'm going to put you on the other side so I can see your comments. I'm going to move the presentation over so I can see my people in the chat. They don't have nothing on y'all. Okay. I feel you on that. Okay. So Forbes. February 18, 2018, the racial wealth gap addressing America's most pressing epidemic, according to the New York Times. And y'all heard it before, but it bears hearing again until we figure it out and solve it, right? For every $100 in white family wealth, black families hold just how much? Let me see if y'all know. For every $100 in white family wealth, black families hold how much? Let me know. Somebody guess. Somebody get 39 people in here. Just guess a number. Just get any number. For every $100 a white family has, how much is a black family? 2. Damn, somebody said 20. $5 $5.04. $5.04. Show numbers like, man, let me tell you. I feel y'all out there. Shout out AJ Black Man. Even Mark. I ain't gonna say five, I say five. You ain't right, Mark. You heard me say five. No, I love y'all for listening and participating. Y'all make it fun. So no, $5.04 for every $100 a white family has in wealth, not in income, in wealth. We can both make $100,000, but I could be $200,000 in debt and have to support my whole family and get my cousin out of jail and my family out the hood. You could have inherited your great-great-great-grandmother's family heirlooms and a trust fund. We both make $100,000, but our lives are very different. Just because we both might have degrees. Oh, no. Don't. People try that all the time. I saw a black person working right next to me. It must be equal. No, don't play games with me. Don't play games with me. The Institute for Policy Studies report, The Road to Zero Wealth. There's a recent report called The Road to Zero Wealth. Institute for Policy Studies recent report. How the racial divide is hollowing out the America's middle class. Now, it shows between 1983 and 2013, the wealth of the median black household declined 75%. I'm starting that part over. I'm going to show you where you can see it. I'm going to give you the study. The Institute for Policy Research, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to give you this one because y'all need this one in your life. Boom. That's the study. So that's what I'm reading from. The Institute for Policy Studies recent report, The Road to Zero Wealth, How the Racial Divide. You can Google that. If someone want to Google it and put it in the chat, that'd be fine too, I'm sure. How the racial divide is hollowing out the America's middle class. Show between 1983 to 2013, the wealth of the median black household declined 75%. So inflation went up, because you got to talk about that in relation to inflation. It's not simply 75% less money. It's a different time period where the same amount of money can have less of an economic impact regarding how far that dollar could go. Somebody better talk black to me. Shouts out Vicky Dillon. Woo! Let's go. The median Latino household declined 50% from 4,000 to 2,000. We declined 75% from 6,800 to 1,700. Because a lot of people just have nothing. Because people say, how is that possible? How can that be? I make six figures. Well, that's you. And you got to know whether you're the exception or the rule. As I sit here in this office, in these ivory towers, I'm not going to ever get on this mic and talk stupid like, everybody got tenure, right? Man, I was just struggling. Still got my access card. Don't play with me. It's hard out here. Just because you get a little break. Just because you get a break don't mean you got to get blind. Just because you got a break don't mean you got to be blind. You can be blessed without being blind. So when I sit here in my office, I'm blessed, but I'm still black and I'm not blind. Let's keep this party going. Me not come for the play the games, right? No, we're not playing today. I'm gonna stay awake today. Shouts out, who was in the room yesterday when I fell asleep? I gotta spill the juice. Somebody who was in the room yesterday when I fell asleep? I'm working hard for the people, man. I'll work till I can't work no more. Just because you get a break don't mean you got to be blind. That's right. Being blessed don't make you blind. Getting a break don't make you blind. You're still black, and you still better come back. Okay, no, but seriously, if you was in the no, let me stop playing. Let me get back. Let me do it. Okay, back to the studying. Back to the studying. I'm doing too much. Okay, text Queens to 31996. Make sure you stay in the mix. Get your business right. FlyNubianBusiness.com. Get your money right. FlyNubianMoney.com. If you want to get your shopping popping, shopfnq.com. Here we go. So I got my little chart up. Racial wealth inequality is rampant in the U.S. This from Statista. How do you say it? Statista. Yeah. Median household wealth by race, ethnicity, United States. Same base, same thing. 100,000. Okay, you get it. But there's something to be said about when these problem statements meet with an already existing problematic history. We talked before about one of the reports that said, I'll put it up. I mean, not even, because I don't want to assume you were here yesterday or the day before. This might be your first time, so please subscribe. And share the video. What does it hurt to press share? Just one button. You might introduce this information to 100 or 10,000 other people. So just share the video. We're in this love together. No, we got to work it out together, y'all. Pay up. New calculations put slavery reparations at $14 trillion. put this in there before. I like this article. I appreciate this article. It's in thegrio.com, but I appreciate this article. I really do. Boom. Let me get back in the room with y'all, give y'all this information, and then get back to reading. I'm just reading one of the comments. You're saying just because, okay, you got that. And Kavita 8, you're saying that need to be doing PSAs about checking for prostate. If I was advertising, I don't think they should do PSAs for checking for prostate. I don't know about that. I used to work in the music industry. I do talk radio now. I still do a lot of interviews with entertainers. There's something to be said about a brand where some work needs to be done through charitable efforts. Other works, like when we talked about Jay-Z and Beyonce bailing out the protesters, that's not something you just say at the concert. There's ways to do things, and there's appropriate places where they can actually have a greater impact. Like if you were to make a rap about prostate exams, I think it would compromise the value of your brand overall in a way that it might be more effective to either support an existing initiative, to fund certain efforts, or maybe potentially at some point in your career later to lend your brand's momentum, like Rock Nation supports, as opposed to like, hi, my name is Jay-Z. See, like if you really want to talk about it as a consultant, I wouldn't advise that at all, but I would advise them to get involved in efforts to reduce the likelihood of people not getting the proper testing when it comes to prostate examinations. And let's go back. So there's problematic history. Good afternoon to you, Arlene. There's problem and black to black man, right? When I look at that article, it talks about $14 trillion owed to enslaved Africans for mostly hours worked. I said this before. Hours worked doesn't calculate one single rape, one act of rape. So there's people who've lived for 20 years with a master who raped them consistently. That's a lot of different incidences of violation. They can't calculate it, is the point I'm making. They're just calculating, this how many hours y'all worked, this how much cotton y'all picked, this how much sugarcane tobacco, this how much y'all was sold for. That's it. That's the basic of it. There's people right now who get their dog shot by the police and the dog lives and they still get $1 million. People get arrested rough and still get $300,000, $400,000 sometimes because they got slammed on the pavement, especially if they're white. So how can you calculate breeding farms, sex farms? Even after the period of bondage, 246 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, 1863 and 1865, with convict leasing. For those who don't know, they need to watch the documentary video, Slavery by Another Name. Slavery by Another Name to learn more about convict leasing. There's also writings with the same title, but I'm just going by the people who might not want to read like that. I'll put the whole thing up there. I'm not going to put the trailer. I'm going to put the trailer up there. I might as well put the documentary. I'm going to give you the documentary. Save these links for later. Make yourself greater. Text Queens at 31996 to stay in the mix. Make sure you log on to Fly Nubian Queens. Here you go. Slavery by Another Name. Yes, gator baiting. You got the men. I'm going to show you that too. Let's do that too. Shouts out to the Ragsdales. If you're ever in Philadelphia, there's a museum called Lest We Forget. And they have the actual chains and the manacles, and they have the pencil sharpeners and the mirrors that show African babies, the postcards being thrown, the alligators as a joke. And when he went down south, he talked to one of the grandsons of one of the men who used to go out there and snatch the babies from the enslaved African women. And he would talk about how they would use them as to chum the waters, and they would tie them, and the alligators would basically swallow the babies whole. They would take a pickaxe or a sledgehammer at the time. They would crack the alligator's skull with a pickaxe. They would drag them in to take the skins for wallets and things like that. And they would repeat that process throughout the course of the night. I'm going to show you all these videos because whatever y'all want to talk about, I want to make sure that I'm responsive to the listeners and come with a wealth of information unparalleled. I am Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, and I'm awake today. I'm not playing any games. Here is Slavery by Another Name, about the 80 plus years of convict leasing, which brings us from about 1863 to 1865 all the way to 1941. And they're talking about slavery was a long time ago, and I check them every time. Already put that in there? I'm ahead of myself. Oh, wow, that was fast. I already put Slavery by Another Name in there. So is that the same thing? That ends with 0. Let me see. Maybe I didn't. Let's see. Boom. Is that the same video? Is that same video? No, it's a different video. That's Slavery by Another Name. Now I'm going to give you the Ragsdales. And I'm going to give you Ragsdale. I'm going to say Gator Bait. And when he tells the story I just told you about how he saw some of this memorabilia, slave babies and gator bait, right? I got that for you. And if you ever, even not, contribute, donate, support, like this museum is very important. This less we forget museum. And I'm going to try to get you the website as well. Here's the video of Mr. Ragsdale, the curator of the museum, with his lovely wife. She's not in the video, but she supports him immensely. Behind every great man is his back, but beside and sometimes in front of every great man is his queen. You like that? So I did there. Salute to the ladies. Let me give you this one. You could do a whole lecture from what I'm giving you right now on this topic. You take these 3 or 4 things, you put a couple facts in between it, you go educate the young people. That's how you do it. Ain't nobody trying to be no celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, well, I want to keep all the information for me. I don't play like that. I don't do that. I don't care who's teaching it. Get it out there. If you want to give me credit, that's fine. If you don't, then that's your life. It's your business. I ain't worried about all that like that. I want to show you a special one that had an African American in it. Here it is. Lawrence Wright, creator of the Gator Bait chant. This black man is the creator of the Gator Bait chant out there in the same area where the activities I just described took place. I hope you understand what I'm saying to y'all right now. I'm saying the video I just posted, the title of that video is Gator Bait chant by Mr. Lawrence Wright, the creator of it back in 1996. A black man using his melanin, using his energy, using his soul to talk about Gator Bait chants. When they used to throw black babies to chum the water. What we call that in Afrocentricity is being dislocated. You're not on your cultural historical center or you wouldn't talk like that. It's like the drill teams for Columbus Day. He killed my ancestors, lynched them, raped them, hung them, and now it's Columbus Day. What kind of fool is you? One who hasn't been properly educated about the truth, about the reality of their history, and know an ancestral connection with those who spin in their graves every time there's a black woman singing the national anthem at a Columbus Day celebration or a little drill team jumping around. Only dislocated people ignorant of the realities of history would celebrate their own genocide. You think you can get some Jews to celebrate a Hitler Day? It's a non-starter. Matter of fact, I wish you would even go try. Try to go door to door like Jehovah's Witnesses giving those invitations. So we call that being dislocated from who you really are. The only way that can occur. The only way a grown man could stand up in Florida, knowing the history, and say, let me give y'all these postcards. Let me put these postcards. I'm typing into racist alligator bait postcards. That's what I'm typing in. Boom, where black children use gator bait, alligator bait revised. They wonder if it's a myth. I ain't got one to nothing. Just put postcards and look at all the postcards. Licorice drops. They used it. Little African, a dainty morsel. That's what it says. Little African, a dainty morsel. Licorice drops. Another one says a darkie's prayer. Oh, Lordy, please deliver me from the gators that are going to hold on me. If I only had the chance, I'd give them my pants. If they'd only let me rest or me be. Oh, they only let the rest of me be. If they only let the rest, it says O me be. So they got a darkie's prayer. Remember Kate Smith, the one they took the statue down here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, outside the Flyers Museum. They said that she was singing them darkie songs back in the day. Why the Darkies Were Born in Pickaninny Heaven, which were the songs she sung. And she also endorsed Mammy Dolls back in the day. So no, there is a picture of a little boy in the mouth of a gator, bleeding and crying. And this is what they call, and you know, the one just has the babies out there crying, it just says alligator bait. I don't know if this stuff will come up. I'll try to copy it. I'll try to copy and paste it. Yeah, no, no problem with the links. Oh, they didn't put the link in there. That's just a search. That's just a search. You click that link, it'll take you right to all the gator bait images, all the postcards, all the things that they depicted it. They told on themselves. These ain't new. These ain't 2019 postcards. At the time, why would white people walk around calling black people gator baits if there was no connection? But what would even be the reasoning? What would be the logic? There's possible versus probable. It's far more probable that the people that bred people like animals wouldn't be afraid to use said animals or said property I'm awake today. I'm awake today. No, didn't come to play. So when this problem statement meets the problematic history, as I was saying, if it exponentially complicates how to deduce or calculate what is actually owed. Because you can't, need we talk about pain and suffering, post-traumatic slave disorder, right? Trauma. What's the cost of you traumatizing me? Even if you did something in one moment, if I'm traumatized the next 20 years, you might be culpable for that too. You might have to pay for all my counseling. We never have a debriefing as a people. They just sent us on our way to make do. To all this conversation about mental health, what's to be said? What's the mental reparations that need to be done? Should Black people, at least for 2 generations, receive free mental health assistance? For at least 2 generations, anytime somebody who endured what we endured or a descendant of those people, we should be able to walk in and say, I need to talk to somebody. And it should be no bill, no Obamacare, no nothing worried about it. You should get the right of return to go back to Africa, same way Jews can go to Israel. You should get museums. Well, let me give y'all this one. This is one I like to do. This is what I like to do. This is what I like to do. I like to type in, when people talk about give a check, I say, you ain't say nothing about giving land. Why are you playing games? When you came here to the New World, did y'all founding fathers want to check? Or did they want to check on some promised land that wasn't even promised, and they made up a lie about manifest destiny? They try to blame God. How you throwing God under the bus? Ain't you too big to fit under it and too big and too high to get over it? No. How you going to bring God into your thievery? Manifest destiny. God told me to steal and rape you and murder you. Get up out of here, man. So I'd like to type in Holocaust museums, and I'll do a list. Because this is part of what reparations looks like. List of Holocaust memorials and museums in the United States. Oh, this list is long. This list has over 29 states. There's Holocaust museums and memorials. California alone has the Desert Holocaust Memorial, Holocaust Center in Northern California, Holocaust Memorial California Place of Legion and Honor in Lincoln Park, Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust, Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles, Simon Wiesenthal Center in Los Angeles, Survivors of Shaw Visual History Foundation at the University of Southern California. Like, this is what it looks like when you have an infrastructure and create a culture around a real reparations type of movement. You say, we're not just going to give a check. That in and of itself is an insult when other people are getting land and museums and a check. You gave away land, museums, and a check, but you're going to give me a check. Wait, what? What? Who are you talking to? Don't play with me, boy. You give other people a whole carte blanche 3-course meal of reparations, but you're going to take one little, I'll give you a string bean. Give me the whole damn plate like you gave the last person. You gave them land, you gave them museums, you gave them legislation, you gave them a check, you gave them a fund, you gave them a foundation, you gave them right of return, you gave them, come on now, they funded whole Saturday schools and yeshivas and everything else. Give me come on. I used to work at a nursery school. I said it before, I'll say it again. I used to work at a nursery school. I was a music teacher. Before the children could speak, if you put 1 cookie on one child's tray in the high chairs and put 2 cookies on another child's tray, before the child can articulate their feelings and opinions and positions, they were able to express when they felt that an injustice was taking place. They would look over, they'd see 2 cookies. They look at their spot, they see 1 cookie, and they would lose it. Knock, 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 knock. I said, what is going on with you? Is you special? And they say, no. You think I'm special because you're trying to give me 1 cookie when they got 2. And I'd look around trying to figure out what was going on. Then they try to reach for the other child's cookie. There's something innate in people. And it makes them react adversely to injustices and inequalities. People find balance. You know, there's something in the human brain that we can empathize. Like when you look at people smile, it can be contagious. When you look at people frown, we're hardwired to empathize and sympathize with each other, just to recognize when one another needs help, let alone to feel each other's pain and shoulder each other's burdens. Like, this is the way we're designed as human beings. So when a young person sees you gave them 2, you gave me 1, oh, I don't respect you then. You're unfair. You lost all authority, moral and otherwise. So once you show that you don't understand how to be fair, then you lose all respect from a 1 or 2-year-old. So when Black people look around And we see, oh, you got 5 museums. Oh, you got your own land. Oh, what happened to you only happened for 6 years. And we was there. And what happened to you only happened in another country. But what happened to me was here for 246 years. And instead of, we got nothing. So the conversation's over before it begins. Don't ask why these children don't go to school. Don't ask why their pants are down. Don't ask none of that. Don't try to prune a problem. If you really want to get to the root of this, the first thing you need to talk about is what the hell is going on with the unfairness. Because when I was working at nursery school, until I rectified the unfairness, there was no discipline to give out. There was no instructional lesson to give. You got to make it fair before we take another step. So get right, as they like to say on the block. I'm trying to get right tonight. Get right. You're going to give them all that stuff and then give me some, you're going to buy Escalade with a check. Well, I can't buy Escalade with the land. I can't buy Escalade with a museum. I can't buy Escalade with right of return. All I can do is travel to Africa for free. Everybody that ever went to Africa told me it changed their life. Every brother you see on the corner, they probably wouldn't even be there if they had been to Africa for a little while. Straight up. I've never seen anybody go to Africa and come back and be like, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did when I left. Never. That's one thing I never heard. People go to the slave castle at Elmina through the door of no return, right? On the Ivory Coast. People never come back and say, oh, that wasn't that deep. No big deal. Well, I just stopped there. When they be like, people come into contact with the spirit of the ancestors to the point they can't continue to tour. They said people are breaking down and shaking and convulsing and having to walk outside, just seeing where their ancestors were chained in the menstruation and the feces and the vomit, or people above them were singing to some Jesus that must have been different than the Jesus that we were introduced to, through our traditions and the way that we synchronize and synthesize African spirituality, because there's poems that talk about your Jesus ain't like mine. How can you be up there singing about what we do for the least of these while you got people, men, women, and children chained just below your so-called church? People don't go there and come back the same. So we need a right of return. I said it before. How you doing AfricanAncestry.com and it's not subsidized by the government? The government should be paying for that. We done picked all that cotton. Now you're trying to cotton swab my mouth. Get that cotton out of my face. All the cotton should be free. Give me a damn shirt. All cotton. Give it to me. Earned it. Deserve it. Get out of here. Don't do that, though. Don't walk out no store talking about the rap professor said that I deserve this cotton. Shh. They'll give you some metal cuffs. No, but seriously. We should not be paying to go back to Africa. That plane ticket should be free. We came here as prisoners of war. There is no logical rationale, even according to maritime law, that justifies the fact that somebody who's a prisoner of war and their descendants should not at least be able to leave and go home. Even if they say one way is free, but you can come back. Something, man. Like the bridge be doing the tolls. One way you pay, one way you get back free. At least the leaving should be free. I shouldn't have to be here. I shouldn't have to be here. Based on the way we got here, if we want to leave right now, we should not be held to the same standard as people who immigrated here. They came willingly. Their ancestors came willingly. Blame it on your grandfather, dog. You want a ticket? Buy a ticket. You can't say that to me. So that was just one state I gave you in terms of Holocaust memorials. I gave you Florida, right? I'll give you California. Florida has the Craig and Barbara Weiner Holocaust Reflections Resource Center. How many enslaved African resource centers have y'all seen and been to? I'm going state by state, y'all. I can do a whole video on just this. Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Petersburg. The Frisk Family Holocaust Memorial Gallery. Holocaust Memorial of the Greater Miami Jewish Federation. Holocaust Documentation and Education Center. Holocaust Memorial Resource and Education Center of Florida. Holocaust Museum of Southwest Florida. I'm not hating. I'm saying if they got that for 6 years, we got 246 years to talk about. So if I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Florida, that's like almost 1 per year. So if we were in bondage for 246 years, we deserve 200 plus resource centers in the. That's why they're scared. That's why we can't come to the table and have a conversation, because they know what it means. If they do it proportionally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 separate places in New York alone. They got a Holocaust museum in the Bronx High School of Science. Shouts out to anybody from the Bronx that already knew that. Y'all got a Holocaust museum in y'all high school? Must be nice. What high school got a black remembrance? Huh? Yeah, they be quiet when you come out of respect. Exactly. Exactly, as they should. Fertile soil and trillions in gold. The cobalt, the coltan, the gold, the diamonds, the copper, right? The agriculture, the flora, the fauna from the rainforest. Like, we can go on and on, right? And then the people. You took people. You took people. We talked about that in one of the other lectures. I was talking about the price of an enslaved African. It was costing like as much as a house to buy a person, because a person could build you a house. So pay up, 14 trillion reparations. But this is an article I'm gonna give y'all. I definitely want to give y'all this article, because this is a local article that you might not be privy to, but I'm sure it applies to more cities than just Philadelphia. Text Queens to 31996 to stay in the mix. Make sure you log on to Fly Nubian King TV, flynubianqueens.com. This article right here is this one. Y'all need this one. And they let me put it in. It wasn't too long. That link right there. Please, ma'am and sir, save that link. Please. The name of the article is Philly, We're Officially Living in an Apartheid State. When the vast amount of equity, wealth, and resources are controlled by a city's racial minority, it's time to start asking why. Salute to the brother Ernest Owens for writing the article. And I am advertising for the good brother Ernest Owens. And I want to make sure people read this article. This is a big deal, because some of y'all live in cities that are the same way. Y'all remember the Ferguson report? You had this white minority living like apartheid South Africa, where they were just giving all these tickets to people. And Eric Holder reported in the report that one of the offenses that was cited in the Ferguson report is their words, not his: manner of walking, being too uppity. Being too uppity. Darren Wilson allegedly told Mike Brown, "Get the F out the street. I don't like the where you are and the way you are." Woo! So to bring it full circle, I'm going to pause right there and bring it full circle. So when Jay-Z says, "I can't help the poor if I'm one of them, I got rich and gave back," to me, that's the win-win. Gentrify your own hood before these people do it. So when we're talking about gentrification in this context, how we did earlier when we were defining terms, some people raised a little fuss about the notion of gentrification and what it means. Now, the implications over time that have been related to a specific term does not necessarily dictate what the term actually means or implies traditionally. Like, if something makes a change, and now gentrification to us means one thing, but gentrification as a term, we're just talking about renovating and improving the house and all that to conform to certain middle class standards. Now, if we use that non-racial, I would say, what's the term they used to use? That nonsensical term, post-racial. Foolishness. You know, when Anderson Cooper was sitting there at the election, at the desk the night of the election, and he was like, "Have we entered the post-racial society?" I was like, "Bro, we ain't even finished counting the votes. If you don't get some hair color and stop playing with me, boy. If you don't get some hair color," what's that movie with the boy with the white hair back in the day? Y'all know the movie I'm talking about too. Somebody gonna put it in the room and crack up. What's that movie with the boy that look like Anderson Cooper's teenage son? Where the boy got the white hair. What's good? Stiletto Naturalist. What's good? Mark White, the midwife, Show Enough, everybody. Okay, yeah. Show Enough been rocking out. I appreciate you. I really do. So when Jay-Z's talking about gentrify your own hood and make the peoples move in, I asked a question on the radio today. A brother was talking about gentrification. And I said, what's the multi-million-dollar question of why somebody can have white flight and be so xenophobic? Sorry, my shirt's all wrinkled up. I was, long story. Okay. But how can people have white flight and then want to fly back and not only live next to you? When they left, they couldn't live next to you. But when they come back, they want to live in the very house you living in. Or knock that to the ground and live in the same. So let me get this straight. 30, 40, 50 years ago, you couldn't live in the same, I didn't even say same block. The term is not "there goes the block," right? Nobody's saying "there goes the block." There goes the neighborhood. I seen my fourth black family, tipping point, red line about to kick in any minute. Let's get out while the price is still high, it's still white hot, right? There goes the neighborhood. So you couldn't live in the same neighborhood as me, but now you want to live in my house. Contrast that to what master teacher and comedian Paul Mooney said, that when we were enslaved, they let us stay in their bedrooms. We had our own quarters attached to the house, sometimes could stay in the house as house Negroes, but the second we got free, they couldn't even be 2 blocks away without raising a fuss. This is a game. And I asked the man, what is different now? We still just as black as we was when y'all left. Why y'all back? Because rap music done came out and you realize we was human beings? No. You was having babies with us and everything else. Shout out Thomas Jefferson, quadroons, octoroons, mulattoes. You knew we was human. So when Jay-Z says gentrify your own hood, we talking about creating some type of hedge of protection, some type of industry awareness about market value, about not just people saying, I flip houses. I want to flip houses. How many people, everybody got a cousin, somebody, a friend say, I want to flip houses. Can't flip a dollar, can't flip a coin, can't flip nothing. I was gonna take it somewhere else, but that was inappropriate. But just ain't doing nothing. But you gonna flip a whole house. You like what's the nah. I'm trying not to be too ratchet. That's why I got a bow tie on. You know, I try. Oh my gosh. Who said this? Star Wars. Next to us is cheaper and the houses are actually nice. Next to who is cheaper? I don't know who us is. Should I know who us is? Style Wars? I don't know who us is. Maybe your avatar should have a picture, because us is just the silhouette. And I know that's not how you look in real life. Those silhouettes that appear when you don't have a picture. He said us, like us, me and you, like us who? Depending on where you live. I don't know. But yes. So this idea of people playing games is 3-card Monte. Ooh, I'm so scared of you. I'm so scared of you. But I'll go in the dark of night into the slave quarters among people I just beat all day, worked and exploited, raped and bred, and I'll go in there into the slave quarters and violate a woman in the presence of all these other women in the slave quarters. If you was that scared, you wouldn't do that. So are you scared, or do you use this idea of fear the way that people do in 2018 and 19 to weaponize 911 when they say, oh, so, or like the police when they're on camera killing people that are unarmed, I feared for my life. Oh, y'all been talking like this for a long time, huh? Y'all been playing this game for a long time. Y'all been playing the fake fear game for a long time. And the fake fear is connected to your flight. Fake fear and flight. Cultural, sociological, 3-card Monte. You're living a lie. Like when people get in the elevator and clutch their purse as though there was somewhere to go if I grabbed your purse. We in an elevator, dummy. I'm going to take your purse and then push my button. Take your purse and be like, I'm going to 10, push 10. No, hold on to this. Back up, Becky. Who does that? Wouldn't you wait till the doors open up? Then you can clutch it. Like, or before the doors open up, you know, maybe like a subway used to snatch things and run off. Like, I'm not going to grab your purse when I'm walking onto the elevator, stupid. I'm going to back up before the doors close up. I like 3D, wasn't it? No, let me stop. They'd be like this. Second of all, you act like your guns is built like that, Becky. I'm a little young skinny boy, but if I wanted that purse, I could get that purse. Don't play with me. If anything, you antagonizing me. Now I'm mad. Why are you going to do all this? Now you're going to upset me. I wasn't even planning on robbing nobody today. Let me take this bow tie off. No, seriously, though. So there's something that's not rooted in logic. There's a xenophobia. There's a racial intolerance that's not rooted in logic. That's why I always say that they don't even go back far enough to recognize that their own ancestors were black people. All of y'all ancestors watching this were black. 70,000 years ago, the whole world was black. So you tell me you went back far enough in time, you would hate and couldn't live in the same neighborhood as a person who gave you life? Responsible for you on the planet, whether you are mutated, grafted, whatever. The reason why you exist on a planet is because black people existed first. I love people play that game, talking about black inventions, all that, talking about what would the world be without black people? No people. What would the world be like if African American? No people. Without black people, no people. There's a certain debt there, a certain deference. But I won't stunt. I'll just say at least a certain degree of mutual respect. Respect your ancestors. Respect your roots. That's how I was raised. I was raised to respect it. That's why I always shout out to Dr. Malefe Kete Asante. Every time I get on this platform, flynubianqueens.com, flynubiankingtv.com, Boyce Watkins, tell Boyce he got one. That's how we rocking, right? Anybody who gives me a leg up, you know, I don't kick no step that helps me up, no matter how big I ever get. I'm always eternally grateful. My father taught me to be eternally grateful. So I talk about James S. Hall from the Triumph Baptist Church, Herbert E. Millen Lodge 151, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I just talk about institutions and personalities and people, the Department of Africology and African American Studies here at Temple University. Anybody, like, I got respect, man. How you not going to respect from whence you came? 2/3 of human history on the continent of Africa. When they left Africa, they had the same face that they did when they got to wherever they got. That's why the Negritos in Asia were black and are black. That's why the Dravidians in India are black, right? The untouchables, the Dalits, right? That's why the Aborigines in Australia are black. That's why when David Imhotep writes the book, The First Americans Were African, is because the first people that got wherever they got had the same face that they had when they left Africa. You didn't in one lifetime. People say over time, the climate, over time, but not in one lifetime. That means when I left Africa, wherever I got to before I died, I had the same face. They talk stupid, man. They talk stupid. They want you to believe in some polygenetic theory like white people popped up, Indians popped up, Asians popped up. No, you all came from a black African root and you got an issue with it, but your issue ain't mine. You got an issue with the reality of who you are, which means on some level you hate yourself. You got a problem with the most powerful, in some instances, genetically dominant part of yourself. And don't blame that on me. I didn't do Mendel with the P experiment with dominant and recessive genes. That was Mendel. He mixed all that with the P's and figured out that they were dominant and recessive genes. I didn't make none of this up. Salute to Francis Cress Welsing, though, in the ISIS papers, the color confrontation theory and genetic annihilation. But this ain't my work. I'm just citing my sources. So how you want to hate the strongest part of yourself, your root? That's why you walk around so uneasy and so scared and so antagonistic. You always got to go to war with everything from the darker peoples of the planet to nature. That's part of what the problem is. That's what Michael Bradley said in Iceman Inheritance. Or Shaking Hands and Joke, we talk about the southern cradle, the cradle of the sun and the cradle of the ice, right? You just cat on a hot tin roof. Can't just leave well enough alone. Can't just live peacefully. Now, if you learn from your root, if you go to your root, you can drink, right? How can you get nutrients? How can you get to the source? How can you get what you need to sustain yourself and grow stronger if you don't even deal with your own roots? Oh my goodness! Somebody let me know that they understand what I'm saying, because I'm giving a word to myself. I'm gonna help somebody out here. So when Jay-Z says gentrify your own hood and let your people move in, it's a Sankofa tradition, that Sankofa bird that's looking back over his shoulder in the African tradition to go back and fetch it. And on top of that, he says claim eminent domain. Let me give y'all that bar again. Somebody just tuned in. I'm not gonna read the whole verse, but I'm gonna give y'all the bars, those two bars. Gentrify your own hood before these people do it. Claim eminent domain and have your peoples move in. That's a small glimpse of what Nipsey was doing. Claim eminent domain. He could have said utilize or use or blame eminent. No, claim. So it's like he's playing their game on them. See, I said the person in the elevator, people, they feign fear to justify their flight. They act afraid to weaponize 911. Oh, I feared for my life, so I shot the unarmed black. People are playing games, and Jay-Z is saying, play it back. Oh, eminent domain. Same way Malcolm said, whatever I learned about violence, I learned about studying your forefathers, Patrick Henry and the like. Right? When you learn their game and start playing it, whether you Johnny Cochran, whether you Nat Turner with the preaching and the rebellion, whether you Robert Smalls and Black Fortune, figuring out how to get your free, when you figure out how to use they thing on them, ain't nothing better. I'm talking about Huey Freeman, spook the sat by the door, get all the information you can, and then flip it for the justification and liberation of African people throughout the world. Come on now. Jay-Z is saying, learn it and play chess. Learn it and play. So you guys say, what's eminent domain? Not only is he saying what eminent domain is, he's saying claim eminent domain and let your peoples move it. That's what they do to us. They roll up on us. We need this property. You got to roll. He's saying you be your own government. Because private citizens don't claim eminent domain. Government entities claim eminent domain. There's another Jay-Z line that says, we had governance. Who would have thought the love would end? This whole idea of self-governance, Rock Nation, this idea of nation building, arguably something he got from the Nuwapians when he was studying the teachings of Dr. Malachi Z. York. If you watch the Originators video and things like that, when he's with Jazzo in New York, shouts out to any of my Nuwapians or people who study Malachi Z. York's teachings. This whole understanding of we can create our own, like they did in Putnam, Georgia, when they had the land out there that everybody from Erykah Badu and Stevie Wonder visited before the sheriffs in Putnam County knocked it down based on some suspect allegations, but they ain't knocked down one Catholic church, even with all the molestation and relocation. I ain't come to play with nobody. He's saying we could be our own government. Do for self. Claim eminent domain means act as a government. Where about Moore's at? We're talking about jurisdiction and authority and status up in here. He's saying the same way they just decide to give themselves names, like Marcus Garvey said. Remember Marcus Garvey gave himself all the names? Supreme Master Council, Potentate, all that. He'd be giving out names. He said that's what they do. They just make stuff up. Attorney General. Somebody just said it. I knight you king of the outer jungle, right? Game of Thrones, whatever. That's all they did. You the Attorney General. You the Assistant Attorney General. You are the Vice President, Grand Chief, and Commander, and you are the Naval Officer, Expedition 745, all the bars, stripes, and buttons, and zippers, and Michael Jackson Thriller jackets, and beat it. No. He said we could do the same thing. We could just pick a bunch of names, the longer the better. And he said the whole world is run on bluff. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He said the whole world is run on bluff. People with good game. They say, this is the line in my territory. Who said? Well, me. And these guys with these guns. Right? Bluff and bluff you could back up. Spook Who Sat by the Door. Great book. And this he also did mention that book. I heard an interview. And I heard that the new recruits at some point at Quantico, Virginia, studying to be FBI agents, were required to read that book at one point in time. That might be a rumor. I don't talk to any agents to find out. But no, seriously, we need to make sure. So we're listening to Jay-Z now. No, we listen to everybody. We read Hitler. We read Socrates. We read Sheikh Anta Diop. We read Malcolm. We read Sun Tzu. So even if somebody's an enemy to us, we listen to them. There's truth on all sides. There's things to be extracted. I call it beneficial extraction. We're sophisticated critical thinkers and analysts over here. So there's nobody that we don't listen to. This isn't Black Twitter cancel culture. You can't tell me a Black man that could generate $1 billion in a relationship with a Black woman who used to sell crack cocaine and have little to nothing, that we have nothing from that person to listen to. Please don't bring that level of ignorance into this room. Please don't be that. And I say ignorant, I'm not saying that as a pejorative. I'm saying, please don't be that unaware that a man who came from the beginning is as humble as selling crack, whose friends got 10 to 20 years in prison. Shout out Emory Jones and Klein and all that. Like, please don't act like this is the typical story that a crack dealer ends up a billionaire. There's nothing you can learn from. You don't listen to billionaires? Come on. And your name is Frank White? You know how these stories end. Yes, any man that went from the trap house to being a billionaire, yes, I listen to that person. I listen intently. I want to know how to get out of my situation, even if I don't agree with everything they did. The reason why people study Hannibal isn't because they're going to war. He had a particular strategy about the ways that they still teach in West Point. People learn from the people that are trying to kill them. They learn from the enemy. They say, oh, you were doing that. That part worked. The FBI listened to the Panthers. That's why the FBI helped the government start their breakfast program. You listen. I feel like DJ Khaled, listen. Yes, we are listening to Jay-Z now. And you should too. Because he has the ear of an entire generation that now have PhDs and badges and degrees, and some of whom have hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you want to be in conversation with that demographic that revere him to that degree, even if you don't love him, but you love those babies that look up to him, and you want to identify with them and speak their language and make sure you can relate to them, then you listen to what they aspire to be, care about, or what they listen to growing up to help to develop them. Even if you want to deprogram somebody, reverse engineering, even if you don't like what he's saying, you should listen in order to... Woo! Too reactionary, emotional, cancel culture. Oh, we're listening to Jay-Z now. Come on, y'all. Come on, Black man. We better. We better than that. We better than have a Black man come up from nothing without his father, selling crack cocaine, getting married to a Black woman, having babies with that one Black woman, making $1 billion, providing all kind of streaming services for us, putting people on, feeding people, making other Black people millionaires, owning and controlling his masters and his own company, picking a woman. Come on, man. Come on, man. I think there's a lot of hateration going on with Black men when it comes to that kind of stuff. I expect to hear Jigga if it wasn't for you. Instead, all I hear is buzzing from your crew. I see you waiting in the wings, but I'm doing my thing. Jay-Z said, where's the love? He said he went to do-rags with the so-called awards. Chain on with his shirt open like F y'all all. He said, I brought the suburbs to the hood. He said, I ain't crossover. I brought the suburbs to the hood. He said, I made them love you. Come on, man. I made it so we could say Marcy and it was all good. I ain't crossover. I brought the suburbs to the hood. Think about them previous generations. They was wearing lip gloss and sequins and dancing around with damn feathers and cat suits before Run DMC and people like Jay-Z expressed a different expression and aesthetic for manhood. Cameo, the boy wearing a red plastic cup outside his tights. But he teasing us for wearing Air Jordans. Put on your airs and act real cool, but you got to realize that you're acting like fools. Use the fool with a damn cup over your pants, wearing some tights like you in a ballet, Leroy and Fame, looking crazy. They don't chastise that generation. Your lip gloss and your sequins and all your nonsense. But here we come, trying to own and control our own masters, fulfilling the legacy and dreams of people like James Brown and Sam Cooke, who want to have this degree of control over. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You can't tell them on a different type time. Let me continue chopping this up. A man who has the money and capability to change the black community. This is the dumbest stuff I hear every day. You got the money to change the black community. Is our problem somebody giving us money? Is that our problem? Is that the root of our problem? Because people say all the time, you're giving money today and you don't know how to budget, you're going to be broke tomorrow. Well, that's you then. You're not listening right. Clean out your ears and listen to videos like this who could break it down and contextualize it and historically relate it in ways that could benefit you. Just because something didn't benefit you don't mean it can't be of good use for somebody else. That's like saying, I took insulin and it killed me, right? It's like, well, you didn't have diabetes, bro. There's people out here with cultural diabetes. They need insulin. Just because you took it when you had no business taking it and you overdosed, that don't mean the insulin is bad. It means your dosage was off. Queens to 31996. FlyNubianKingTV.com. Fly Nubian Queens. Get your business right. FlyNubianBusiness.com. You make a bad decision, so it's the person's fault. Come on, man. Come on, man. Well, forget listening to Jay-Z. You need to listen to Michael Jackson. You're starting with the man in the mirror. Ooh, you need to really make a change. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, that Jay-Z line blew my mind. Cause there's Jay-Z in the street, helps peeps to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending I don't see those memes? They hate on Jay-Z hard. He tried to play his part. He even bailed protesters out. What's that mean? Come on, man. He bailed the protesters out in Ferguson and Baltimore. You don't listen to people that bail black people out, that raise up against the system? Yeah, Jay-Z and Beyonce bailed out protesters in Baltimore and Ferguson. We're listening to Jay-Z now. If you mad, be mad at yourself, man. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. You don't come in there talking about something. Yeah, my name is Aaron, and the bartender keep giving me drinks. Damn bartender, I ain't listening to him. Like you T-paining too much, bartender. Right? But seriously, at the base level, you got to be like, let me own this. Listening to Jay-Z sent me to prison. No, you made poor choices that sent you to prison. Stop playing. You ain't gonna be in this room passing out poison. There might be young people listening. They're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna blame a rapper too. No, because guess what? They ain't gonna hold them in court either. Go to court and tell somebody that. Go to court and tell somebody, I'm here because of Jay-Z's lyrics. They're gonna say, which album? Not Kingdom Come. No, but seriously, Jay-Z fans, that was funny. Come on, man. Come on, man. I want us to grow. I want us to do better. And part of that is just owning our crap. You mess up, just own your crap, man. Jay-Z sitting there with a beautiful wife and family on vacation, doing concerts, owning companies, and you sitting there talking about Jay-Z sent you to prison, listening to Jay-Z sent you to prison. No, not listening to Jay-Z sent you to prison. I can name 5 songs right now that you must not have heard then. Just like it was all good for, like I put the toast to your head and made you sell. We both came in this game blind as hell. I did a little better, got more clientele. Still told you put away some paper. Now you crying for bail. Come on, man. Like there's so many lines in Jay-Z songs that talk about staying. He said, Hov did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that. Come on, man. Like I told you sell drugs. No, Hov did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that. I could do this all day, preaching from the book of Jay-Z. Then you're going to say, well, you didn't listen hard enough. Wait, you want more lyrics? You want me to quote some more Jay-Z lyrics that should have kept your ass out of jail? Jay-Z stayed out of jail listening to Jay-Z. So how you end up in jail listening to him? Jay-Z listened to Jay-Z, and even after the Rivera stabbing and Emory Jones got locked up and everybody else, Jay-Z listening to Jay-Z stayed free, but you listening to Jay-Z got you locked up. You think the deciding factor was Jay-Z. Jay-Z plus Jay-Z, freedom. Jay-Z plus you, jail. So what's the... Damn it! It's called intellectual algebra. Jay-Z plus Jay-Z equals a billionaire, Beyonce, and free. Jay-Z plus you equals a damn sentence and continued excuses online after you're free. Whose fault is it? Listening to Jay-Z. Y'all in the right room for that, though. Y'all in the right room for that. Y'all in the right room for that. Text Queens at 31996 to stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, or share. I'm doing a little longer because I fell asleep last time. I was working so hard. I only got hours of sleep. But I'm back. I'm back in the building. Your boy, the rapping professor, Aaron X. Smith. You could Google me. I love you, Frank. I ain't got a problem with you, Frank. So I don't even want you to think that I'm really coming at you on some personal stuff. But it's like, bro, we all got to do it. We got to own our stuff, man. I want you to do better just like I want my people to do better. I'm not helping you if I say, you right, Frank. If I say, Frank, you right, Jay-Z got you, that's not helping you. I wouldn't go out to these young boys and be like, yeah, these rappers going to have y'all locked in. No. That's not the way. Put it this way. I'm going to tell you like this, Frank. That's not what would help me. I can only give it the way I know I needed it. I needed somebody to say, man, cut the crap and man up. That's how I got here. I didn't get here with people saying, it's all right. It's not your fault. No, they was hating on you. That's not how I got where I'm at. It took me 10 years to get my first degree. Ain't nothing nobody could tell me. I'm not even going to name all the cases, and I got no. What was understood don't even need to be said. If you can't tell by my energy and the way that I talk that there's something real about me, then I'll just leave it at that. You just be mistaken. You just misjudge me then. I take the LL approach or the Nelly approach. When I met Nelly, when I was working on FM, this brother had one of the realest lives of any rapper that was in the game. He could have talked about that all he wanted. He said that in an interview. We was at 2001 at the Billboard Awards, MGM Grand. We interviewing Nelly, and he was saying, if I wanted to talk about that stuff, I could talk about that stuff. He said that stuff was more a reality in his life. And then BET later did the behind the scenes of Nelly's life. And there's all these people strung out in this real environment. They were talking about his life. He could have rapped like that. He chose not to do that. He chose something different. Like, some people just need to hear it, man. You know? And if you just want to think somebody's corny or think somebody's soft or think something, then go ahead, man. I'm not here for that. I don't do the glorification thing. But if you can't hear me and feel my energy and already know that it's a certain type of time I'm on and it's a certain type of man, whatever. Let the degree and the bow tie fool you. A likes recognize game. You see what it is. You see the way I talk this talk. You know what it is. And if you don't, then you're just not going to know, because I'm cool with you not knowing, because I already know how haters be watching and trying to use things we say from the US organization, the Panthers, and try to go back in times that I heard he used it. No. Go ahead and believe it then. But I'm going to tell you straight up, when it takes you 10 years to get a 4-year degree, making excuses don't get you where you need to be. When it took you 10 years to get a 4-year degree, making excuses don't get you where you need to be. So every time I see somebody even start to make excuses, tools of mental and confidence built up our minds and nothing those practice use self-capable excuses. If you had anybody who studied, or was online for the Greek organizations, we learned about excuses. So what are excuses, right? Excuses is the first tool of a loser. That's how you can identify the losers from the winners. Who's making excuses? Who's blaming somebody else? Who's still playing games? Who ain't grow up yet? And I'd be like, damn, that's so harsh, but that's just what we need. You want your medicine to be sweet or to be effective? Because oftentimes it's not both. Y'all know right now the sweet medicine don't do your body as good. Don't start me off with the herbs and the I'm vegan too. I know. I got you. We don't need to be taking that medicine. Somebody all ready to jump in and Dr. saving me out like I ain't studied the brother for 20 years. You could look at me and know I ain't quoting 2001 interviews and looking the same way I did my yearbook because I'm eating the church of chicken. Like, okay, I got you, bro. You know what I'm trying to say though. In terms of medicine, the bitter medicine, even according to people's placebo effect, you feel like it's doing more because of the history of bitters in nature and the effects that bitters have on the body for cleansing and detoxification. So I can give y'all a little bit, give y'all herbalists a little bit, my fellow vegans out there. But the sweet candy, those gummy multivitamins with the gelatin in it and the pork and the high fructose corn syrup and the vitamins, right? Like, come on. Y'all want this straight with no chaser? Or y'all want me to coat it and wrap it in so much sweetness that you end up getting sicker? You can eat for multivitamins right now that can help you get type 2 diabetes. They got so much damn sugar in it. I ain't giving out. I ain't got time for that. Rest in peace to John Singleton. I got to do what I got to do while I'm here the way I got to do it. People can't handle it. Just don't handle it. There's other pages. That's how we got to move now. We are at war. We're just a soldier. We got no time to be like, I hope y'all like this. I hope y'all. If you worry about how somebody feels instead of worrying about how you're going to be remembered when you go, you're not on my type time. Somebody going to watch this years from now. I ain't worried about today. Today got nothing to do with this. This is for prosperity's sake. So no matter what kind of technological innovations come, no matter how race relations change for the better or the worse, no matter how people start eating or militarily engaged or even view the institution of marriage, they're going to know that this was some unadulterated truth being spoken here today. I'm not doing it for likes. I'm not doing it for friends. I'm not doing it for money. This is my truth. And I'm speaking it unapologetically. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it's 2 words. Oh, well. More of us need to be that way. As long as you're coming from a place of love and honesty and respect, I respectfully am going to check the hell out you the same way I expect you to do to me. Just like when I was falling asleep. They was in the room like, bruh, get some rest. They was like, we love your videos, bruh, but we ain't trying to watch you sleep, homie. I took y'all advice too. See, y'all checked me yesterday. Just yesterday, y'all was like, yo, man, there's a certain standard to the videos. You know, you can't be on the platform with your Rip Van Winkle. You know, you can't. What's this, a hibernation lesson? What's this, guided meditation? Like, no, I see all that. That's how I would have been with a joke. I was like, you big Rip Van Winkle, snooze fest, hibernation, Winnie the Pooh. I would have been going in, play the dozens right there on my keyboard. No. And I like that. I like having brothers and sisters around me that'll be like, come on, man, you got to step it up. Go take a nap. Come back when you're right. Come back when you're able to deliver on a certain level. And until then, fall back. I was going to come back that night. Guess what? That night I was tired. I'm going to keep it a beat with you. I said, I might come back later and do part 2. I didn't. I ain't have it. I went and got rest so I could bring it to you like this today. That was the whole point. My word. Who said, Cassandra, what'd you say? What's that? I'm late. I'm late to the messages. Okay. Frank asked about Jay-Z being involved in Brooklyn Next deal. Yes, the Barclays have a history of benefiting from buying up companies that benefited from the slave trade. Dr. Lovely Kete Sanders says we got to start with chronology. So if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. I'm not talking when the black guy got 1% of a company in 2000. No. We can talk about it. Barclays, when you look at the subject when it said 14 companies that benefited from slavery, and Wachovia, TXS Trains, and New York Life Insurance, all of them was on there. One of the companies that was on there was Barclays. So we're already dealing with a certain tradition. So when Jay-Z says, I got rich and gave back, to me, that's the win-win. I used to work for a company that took out taxes at a time when many people were questioning whether income tax was constitutional. Many people still have that debate. They don't make it as public because nobody wants to get into trouble. But some people do question the constitutionality of income tax. Y'all can put how y'all feel. If y'all feel like it, if y'all don't, I don't want the IRS coming for nobody. I'm just sharing the information as it exists. My taxes, just like taxes back in the day, would go toward like feeding the dogs they were sick on our grandmothers. So our grandmothers would clean the floor. We pay taxes. We pay into a corrupt system. We participate with corruption in order to try to get liberation. I'll say it again. Some of us join ROTC, though we disagree with war hawks and imperialism and building bases in sovereign nations. But we still got to pay for our school loans. So we join the ROTC. Some of us become law enforcement officers, even though we've had a sordid history with law enforcement. See, we cooperate to some degree with the beast and the beast system so that we can put food on our table. And we say to make greater moves eventually. I'm going to be a cop, but I'll be a good cop if there's such a thing in somebody's eyes, maybe not, right? I'm going to do all this so that my daughter can go to school and become a lawyer and then I can have a pension. Like, so people are always, as long as they're in America, playing that same game. Let's not act like just because Jay-Z's doing it on a more public, exponentially larger economic level, that we don't do that every day as a black person. If you're a black person with a job, We make these same deals, compromises, and adjustments for the sake of the greater good and the greater eventual. We all do that. We all do that. There's people right now that done sold some drugs just to get on their feet. Once they got on their feet, they might have got their car, they down payment on the house, they might have got out the game. They might just need it for the moment. There's some people that sell drugs to get their man out of jail because they needed to bail their people out and they don't even really live that life, but they just had an opportunity. Like, come on now, let's not. Every group that ever came here done did some dirt and then went legit. But they try to tell us that we shouldn't do no dirt and we should catch up to them. The Jamaican posses, the Japanese or the Asian triads, the Jewish mafia, La Costa Nostra. Everybody came here and did whatever they had to do. And then once they got the coast was clear and they got legit, they're like, okay, we're good people now. And I'm not even saying Jay-Z's doing that. He did do that. I'm saying, but at this point, it's like, yo, Kanye was talking about this glass ceiling in fashion. Jay-Z reached the point where he said, if I don't ever sit down with Warren Buffett, I might not be able to be Warren Buffett. Remember when Jay-Z was making his rounds with the Decoded book and he was sitting next to Warren Buffett and talking to people like Bill Gates and Bloomberg and Cuomo? Like, he was around these people because it was something about being in a circle with people that gives you a far greater probability or propensity to become like those people. People say you're going to be like your friends and the people you hang around the most. The 5 people you occupy the most time with, in large measure, dictates where you're going to be, at least economically and professionally. 50 Cent said it this way. He said, you're going to be successful as the people you talk to for no effing reason. The people who you talking to for no reason, that's going to be your level. So if you can't tell somebody, I'm good, nah, shut that down. I ain't got time. I don't do that no more. That ain't me. No, thank you. If that ain't your type time on your tunnel vision, let's see you win and shout out Kodak. If you're not on it like that, and you just want to talk to everybody and do everything, no. If you're talking to Dame and you can't even keep the company intact, then you like, I got to switch up my, anybody in the room ever had that feeling? I got to switch up my circle. You tell one person your dream, or you say, hey, there's a rapping professor on Fly Nubian TV, FlyNubianKing.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com, Fly Nubian Queens. You should check them out. I don't know. Them people on YouTube, that's not the right person. When you're around people that keep telling you you're doing too much, those ain't your people. Some of y'all related to them right now. Some of y'all might be sleeping with people that doubt your dreams every other day. At some point, Jay-Z was like, I'm trying to go. Who heard public service announcement or they don't know? He was like, you trying to get them ones? I'm trying to get them M's. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4. I'm raping Def Jam till I'm the 100 million man. Now he's 500 million. I show you the difference between me and them. They trying to get their ones. I'm trying to get them M's. Come on. He was saying, I think differently than most people. They don't know what they're doing, right? What's y'all saying? So let me get the conversation right. Yes, I respect you, Frank White. I was just saying that out of tough love. If I was talking to me 20 years ago, I said the same thing. It's not even personal. I don't know you, Frank. I was saying that to say it. The nothing but love. I say that because I think, especially when you told me your experience, I feel like you can handle being talked to like man to man. Because men talk like that. Men get hyped even about sports teams. Oh, you a nut, man. How you gonna say that? Lakers ain't never gonna be like we could talk like that. I don't think it means that we hate each other. I don't trip like that. Other people watch from the outside. Like if anybody in a Caribbean family or an African family. First time I went home to my African friend's house, I was like, yo, is they about to hurt each other? He was like, man, they just talking. There was so much aggression from what I was used to. It's just a cultural difference in the way people interact. So a lot of times people be suckers on the sidelines and they see people having a man-to-man conversation. They be like, ooh, and it ain't like that. Ain't nobody tripping. Ain't no blood getting spilled because we just talking passionate. So no, it's all love. I fully understand, appreciate you. And I mean that. If I was to see myself 20 years ago, blaming other people or making mention of somebody else that I couldn't control, instead of focusing 99% of the energy on me that I could control, I'd be like, bruh, stop playing. I would stop me in mid-sentence and be like, bruh, you want to just own you and your decisions and know that that's what, like, you know, and I'm guilty too. I'm guilty of the same stuff. I'm guilty of thinking it was other people's fault. Teachers hating on me, white people being racist. They don't understand. And at one point I had to say, well, even if they never change, I still have a certain life I want to live. If white people who are in my life are being racist, if girls don't appreciate, if jobs keep exploiting, if educators miseducate, I still at some point got to make a change in my life for what I want to do. So when Jay-Z is talking about gentrification and he's saying they are using these tricks, eminent domain. He said that's a small glimpse of what Nipsey was doing. He's saying Nipsey was playing chess. When Jay-Z is talking about gentrification, he's talking about, yo, we got to flip this thing on them. Intellectual Aikido, all the momentum that they're bringing to a certain situations, at the last minute, we can flip it to our advantage. We can't generate all the momentum, but when they get here, we can use that momentum. Because right now, they're creating some of the most potentially sterile environments with no roots to culture and community, with no sincere investment in diversity or tradition, that they're going to be like those ghost cities. Who knows about ghost cities in China and Africa? Let me know in the chat if y'all know about ghost cities. I'm gonna give y'all a little thing on that. But I put it in one of the chats anyway in the previous show. Ghost cities, I'll put China. These are entire cities that are built where nobody lives. Ghost cities on 60 Minutes in Australia. Even in Australia, they got the same thing. They got story about China's ghost cities. Why are there dozens of ghost cities in China? ABC News Australia. China censored. China has crazy number of ghost cities. China's eerie ghost city, a symptom of the country's, listen, man, y'all. China's eerie ghost cities is a symptom of the country's economic troubles and housing bubble. Fancy villas, high-rise apartments, apartment blocks, lakes, parks, and sprawling road networks. Ghost cities in China have it all. I'm talking about whole cities where nobody lives, y'all. Ghost cities in China have just one crucial element is missing: the people. Built for a population that never came, about 50 of these surreal sites lay desolate, across the country, but still the construction continues. You see the sickness? Do y'all see the sickness? I'm gonna put this article right in there. People talking about homelessness. We don't got enough room for people. It's overpopulation. They got entire cities nobody's using and they're still building. It's like Rome is burning and they fiddling. Bread and circus. Nonsense. Going in the wrong direction. That's ghost cities in China. Do not need American news about China. American news? No, I gave you Australian news, but do you mean white news? The story I gave you was from Australia. I can give you Africa's news about China too. Maybe I'll give you Africa's ghost cities. I'm an equal opportunity provider of links. It's good to know where the links are too. Because, you know, China went over to Africa and did the same thing. Just build, right? So you get natural resources from them, make a deal. Here, we'll build, and never thinking how it'll all pan out with the operationalizing and the utilization of said resources. I'm just gonna give you a bunch of concrete and throw it all over the place. And then I'm gonna give you a so-called loan that you gotta pay back. But you can't pay it back. Well, give me some water, give me some cobalt, give me some license to your mines, right? Photo of massive Chinese-built ghost town in Angola. Do we need information about their motherland? I hope you like that information. We do need that. This ain't propaganda, is it? This is propaganda too. Now that we talk about Africa, I can go around the world with this. Now, let's talk about ghost cities versus those cities that are being gentrified. I was gonna make a joke about whiteness and ghosts, but I don't think it's appropriate. It's not necessary for the conversation. It was petty, but it would have been funny. But the point I'm making is, you have areas where, despite the fact that people don't have the need or the ability to move into these places, people are still building. So the building is not in relationship to the need. So when you see people coming to these major cities like Philadelphia, they keep building. That doesn't necessarily mean, and it's always going to be a tipping point. At some point, people are not going to move in. And then you'll have, and people are like, I don't care. If I'm a developer, I just get my contract, I build it, I get the money. Somebody else might be the manager of the property or even the owner of the property. I might be just flipping it, like whatever, like flip houses. Some people just want to cash out. There are people who watch things go down the drain and they cash out. Like during the era of the Kerner Commission with benign neglect, when Watts was burning and Newark was burning and Compton was burning. Like people were like, you know what? We're not rebuilding. A lot of areas never got rebuilt. I grew up during a time where you could still see some of the burnt out storefronts from the riots. Some of y'all remember that? And since 92, there's some areas in LA where you're like, yo, they never rebuilt since the riots. In Katrina right now, they talk about the same thing with the Katrina in the fourth quarter. Like, yo, they never rebuilt. The French Quarter, certain parts here right away. Other parts look like they ain't never gonna build it. They got Aswan Dam. They just got wiped away, like them African civilizations that still exist underwater to this day because the Arabs wanted to redirect the waters. And come on, we can do this all day. Chinese people don't pay a lot of money to live somewhere. They live and work in black neighborhoods or Chinese neighborhoods to build wealth. I just got back from China. Let me tell you one thing that the Chinese are doing. I went to a school where every student had an iPad, elementary school. They showed us some of the projects that the students were doing with 3D printers. And I thought back to all the work I'd done in schools in Philadelphia. I worked at the Freedom Schools of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Anti-Drug, Anti-Violence Network, Women's Christian Alliance. I worked in multiple charter schools and after-school programs and summer programs. And I was like, man, we got to get on the ball. Because everywhere I went, they were building infrastructure, focusing on education, and a sincere focus on balancing tradition with technology. So we go to a Buddhist temple, right, with all the shrines and everything, and then you can go right around the corner to an internet cafe where they were doing the latest technology, and everywhere you went, you saw a major roads project. And then every time on the news, every night, they're talking about a memorandum of understanding, a MOU, MOUs with Africa, MOUs with Asia, MOUs with India, MOU, like they're trying to work with everybody and build up, and then they get to Donald Trump, and it'd be like comic relief, talking about what happened in America with this man's tweets. You talking about a proverbial hamster wheel, like wasting time? They are preparing for when we fall. They are literally preparing, come in, for when we fall. So when we finish having conversations about what rappers to blame and who we should listen to and how mean some white person was to some black person, and we not worried about clean water in Flint, and we not worried about the decreasing value of the dollar, and we keep focusing on he say, she say, clickbait, black Twitter talk, and we never get down to the brass tacks between guns and butter and realize that we need some resources and we need some military wherewithal and we need to learn how to be some survivalists at some point if the dollar does crash. There's a book called Tribes. Let me give you this last book. This is the last one. I'm going to give you this book called Tribes by Culkin. I'm going to give you this one. You're going to get this work. Book, Tribes. The book is called Tribes. If you know the author, you can put it in there too. And the book, I think it's this one. Is it Golden? No, it's not Golden's book. Is it Seth Godin? I think it is. Maybe I could do a lecture on that book because that book is that good. But the book Tribes, it talks about what groups will last into the next century and why. And we weren't named in the groups that are going to have a prominent place in the future. And I was like, damn. But then you read the book, you're like, oh. If your money goes out of your community within a certain amount of minutes and everybody else is rotating their dollar 7 to 16 times, he talked about having a strong sense of racial pride. Strong sense of racial pride. That's one of the things in the book that it says you're not going to last if you don't have this, because people who don't work together are just going to be perpetual consumers. And then if you don't have a need in this age of automation, when you can go get your car washed, you can go buy your food, and a computer can do all this, then you'll just be like Escape from New York. Like the zombies during the opioid crisis, just walk up and down the street while everybody else lives real lives. Anybody who has dependency issues, you know what I'm talking about. Your whole life can revolve around the next fix and getting high, and you can forget that the world even exists because your world is so small. You just rotate around the desire to get high again. That's the extent. It's almost like when they do the experiments on the mice and they put the electrodes on their brain and they can literally trigger them to be hungry, and the mouse could eat till it's full, and before the mouse walks away from the thing, they could trigger a part of the mouse's brain and the mouse will eat again. So the mouse could even kill themselves. Like you can just make somebody's world that small. You can, like Carter G. Woodson in The Miseducation of the Negro, he talks about the circumventing or circumscribing the knowledge of the Negro to the degree where he'll go to the back door and make one for himself, and one isn't there, he'll feel like it's the rightful place, to paraphrase. Like once you get people wrapped around some nothingness. You ever take a cord? When you do the vacuum and you start doing this, right? And then you have like a ring at the end. There's nothing in it, but you wrapped around your elbow to the point where it's almost as though something is in there because the structure has been molded around something that's not there anymore in reality. And people's minds can develop like that. For some people, it's weed. For some people, it's Game of Thrones. For some people, it's sex. But people can get wrapped around one issue and wound so tightly that their circumference of their existence and potential can revolve around one sole issue. And they say we could do that to these people around issues like rap music, sneakers, racism, right? If we could just keep them down there and they never get up to, I don't know, the grand chessboard Zygmunt Brzezinski talks about with international business and affairs, natural resources and mining licenses, and the difference between a low-down lease where you can actually have land rights to dig, or if you just have the lease and the mortgage you have, where all you could do is build a house on there or live on it. And that's why when the government finds oil, they have eminent domain and push you off, back to Jay-Z's line. Because there's a difference between having a title to some land that you could build on and a title to some land you could dig down deep into. That's another lecture for another day. Thank you, Tashina. Thank you, Star Wars. Cradle Civilization. Yes, yes, the original continent. I'll read these when I leave. I do be reading them, though. I do be reading them. STEM, science, I always say STEAM now, right? Don't they talk about STEAM? They add the arts in it. Arlene, I was talking about, was that Arlene? Or Artistic Black Man. They add the arts, and that's why I talk about Jay-Z the way I do, because I think that these artists have not been appreciated, that their potential contribution is so significantly minimized. When we finally get the Freedom of Information Act papers and we can read the FBI files on Tupac and Biggie Smalls and the hip hop police, when you realize how much they cared about the rappers, you're going to feel guilty that we didn't care about them more, even just for their potential. Like King Herod, it's not what you're doing, but what you have the potential to do that's going to make you respond to you in a certain manner. So the fact that they care about these rappers, there's something that these rappers must be capable of or have the potential to do that I don't think the larger community is appreciating. Why do you think the FBI is following Biggie Smalls? I mean, honestly, think about that, because they're just jerks, nothing better to do. Or does Biggie Smalls have the potential, like the COINTEL document said, to be a black messiah and galvanize the African masses to become more militant? They said they didn't fear Elijah Muhammad, not because his program wasn't one of the best, if not the best, but because Elijah Muhammad they figured was too old. They didn't fear Martin Luther King because they said he was too ingratiated in the establishment. And unless he did that, which he seemed to start doing and then got killed, he wouldn't have the potential to galvanize the most grassroots elements of the masses. But Stokely Carmichael, they said, had the political wherewithal, the geopolitical strategy, the charisma, the youth, the aggression, the energy, the detachment from the establishment. And that's why I'm so glad he went where he went when he did, or he might have went a lot earlier. Word to the chairman, Fred Hampton, shout out, and free Mumia. So apparently they looking at this like chess. And if all you looking at it like is what's on Game of Thrones and who got the nicest sneakers and what rapper saying something negative, we got to unwind and get our circumference flowing on a different axis so we can be more like some rings of Saturn than we are some laces on our sneakers. Gentrify your own hood before these people do it. So he's putting an ultimatum. He's establishing the parameters of a conversation. He's saying either we do it or they're going to do it. That prohibits you from marching outside with a sign, trying to use moral suasion like they did back in the abolitionist days. Please see I'm a human being. Please let me stand in front of your bulldozer. Look at my sign. It says I am a man, because you couldn't tell by my head and my arms and my anatomy that I'm a man. What? If I got to prove to you I'm a human being, that proves by default that you're not one. See how we did that? Done. No sign, no megaphone, no appeal, no kumbaya. If you can't tell I'm a human being, dogs can tell other dogs even when they've been mutilated and hit by cars. You can cut a dog in half and bring half of the dog in, and the dog gonna know that's half of a dog. But we can't tell what's 3/5 of a person versus a whole person. Games, again, games. So Jay-Z is saying they're coming, they're going to do it. Our option is to beat them to it before they do it. That eliminates all the nonsense and speculation. Which way do we go? What should we do? Oh, why they here? I don't like it. Look, hot yoga, kale chips, dog grooming. Oh, no. Put a bag on it. They coming. Stop playing. They gonna come. It's gonna be like sold out. Sold to the people. Real power to the people. I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. I got a job to give me breaks to make videos. That's the win-win. I love y'all. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you log on. Text Queens at 31996 and stay in the mix. Teach. I'm trying my best. Because I always say that to reach a higher level of consciousness, I can name at least 10 people like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has been teaching for over 60 years. Who saw that video? I'm going to put that video in there. Because I can't wait till they ask me the question about Farrakhan. Oh my God, I need to put a whole rap just for that. I need to make a rap about the day they asked me the Farrakhan question. And I am going to big up the minister. You're going to think Khalid Muhammad came back in his heyday when he was rocking with the minister all crazy. Because they're going to be like, oh, he was ready. He had 16 bars for the Farrakhan question. Somebody should make that rap. Somebody go steal that. I put it out there. But it's all good. Y'all got that. Farrakhan put 60 years. 60 years. 60 years. Who you know doing anything for 60 years? I know people that have been married. If you ask the wife about the, let me stop. I'm getting messy. That means I've been on too late. Minister Farrakhan educating the people for 60 years. They got a video of him showing love to the people. I wish I could play the audio. I won't play it. I'm gonna give you a video. Please make sure you watch this video of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Please, please look at this video, please. Or this is what I say. Go through the video. Every time you see me drop a link, just grab all them links and look at it and see what it does for you. You might get different ideas, put it together differently, combine it with other things, and just use it. Just use it. Spread the word. Share the video. See that? That's the video. 60 years of teaching. So don't tell me about beef he had with one man for a limited amount of time. Because at some point we look at things in their totality. Nobody be like, yeah, you want to hear about Noah? He was a drunk. Let me tell you about Moses with his murdering self. You know why? Because people look at this cancel culture got y'all all crisscrossed up. I'm gonna start selling mirrors because apparently there is a shortage on mirrors. Because people are so judgmental nowadays, you would assume they must not own a mirror. Because all you gotta you want to look at a filthy rag, everyday sinning, totally imperfect, never going to fully get it right person. Look in the mirror, and then shut up with your hashtags and get offline trying to judge somebody. Right? I'm too busy working on myself to even worry about what somebody else doing wrong half the time. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm still. We are the or else, Frank. We are the or else. That is the answer. It's like the Book of Eli. Remember with Will Smith when he had the writings all over him? It's like Neo with the bullets when he didn't realize he was the one, that he was running away from Agent Smith. Agent Smith was virtually an illusion. If you look at Matrix Part 3, Agent Smith didn't even really exist. But when Neo gave him the power to exist through his limited perception of what his own potential was, he would run from Agent Smith. He would try to fight Agent Smith. Agent Smith would tackle him. He'd get out, but he still had to. No. Once he realized who he was, that he was the or else, he was the I am, then he would be like this. Peace be still. The bullets froze and dropped to the ground. It's your job to realize who you are and what your potential is. And as long as you're looking from what I call a deficit perspective, once you rely on somebody else for your happiness, for your freedom, for your peace, for your liberation, oh, he don't do this, she don't do that, they don't do this. If you're looking outside of yourself for the answer you will never find. Don't wait on the or else. Actualize the or else. Become the or else. That's what was happening in ancient Kemet. When you look at the alchemy and the whole idea about the anamorphic images and people becoming certain spiritual forces, the same way they do in martial arts when they say snake style, crane style, stork style. They're moved, and Bruce Lee said, be water, my friend. When we talk about being changeable and being swift, be water. So when you hear somebody say something, you're not trying to look up at God and be almost a little bit closer to God. He said, didn't I tell you that ye are God's children of the most high God, peace God, all those things that he did. He said, you're going to do greater miracles. He said, if my mind's in you, you got it. You can do it. But as long as you're looking at me with the thotty face, oh, Farrakhan, what we going to do next, boss? Like Pinky in the Brain, what we do every day, trying to get your minds right. We are the or else. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. Text Queens to 31996. Stay in the mix. I stayed awake today. Y'all like that today? Did you? Hey, stayed awake. Now, that's a low bar. That's a low bar. But everybody got to start somewhere. You know, started from the bottom now, I'm here. Woo! Okay. It's been fun, y'all. Asiatic black man, Frank White, I love you. And you provoke great commentary from me. So you always like when iron sharpen iron, because a lot of people just talking in the room, but that don't make me think of nothing. So, you know, actually, even the fact that I'm going back and forth with you is a testament to the fact that you are impactful and you inspire me to think deeply. Yes, our enemy only understands violence. I don't know about that. They understand economics too, Frank. They understand economics. That's why that colonial tax was so important. They didn't come. They came back with the warships pointed at Haiti, but they said, if you can give us all that gold, we'll go back home. Because ironically, that was the real goal. The enslavement of African people is basically the transfer of 99% of our raw materials into their hands. Nobody wants to stand up there and beat people all day. I mean, there's a small percentage of people that are just sadistic. But the average person just wants the benefits of the brutality. That's why we send other people to war. We want the spoils of war, but we don't want the trauma that comes along with it and the sacrifice. So most people don't want to sit there and beat people all day. We just want cheap cotton. And we want to put a cup like this and somebody fill it up. You watch all my videos. I love you, Frank. Frank, if I met you, I'd probably feel more of a closer connection to you than most people, because me and you probably got more of a similar story. And I think it's good for the people to see people just talking, you know. I ain't tripping. Economic, yes. I mean, Frank, wait, Frank, you my new best friend, Frank. You my new best friend. Because me and you can probably just talk one-on-one and do a whole video just together, going back and forth. You know, I got love for you, brother. And I see you on point. And I just didn't like the one comment, but I make mistakes every day. So I fell asleep my last video, Frank. Yeah. So it's all up. It's all. Frank, that's funny thing. If I try to say something slick about Frank, he go back and get my video when I'm nodding off. He'd be like, yo, the leading professor, not the rapping professor, looking like, what's it? Well, famous Dex, they had a rapper who was trying to smoke. He couldn't even smoke his weed. He had so much of the lean in his system. He was falling asleep on the IG live. No, I got to wake up. Now you can't, you know, they say shoulders back. Chest up, stomach in, head up. They say you be strikingly upright. You did really fall asleep. You was in here. I was asking earlier. I said, who was in here when I was falling asleep? Shouts out to my Sean Miller. Get that meme going. Oh man, but that speaks to the commitment. You know, I didn't make excuses. I said, if I'm that tired, my body gonna let me know. The ancestors go. I'm gonna know if I could do it or not. But I'm gonna give it a try. And I'm going to try till I ain't got no more to give. And that's what I promised the people. You ain't never going to catch me saying, no, I'm too busy doing this. My show is on. I'm not. No. I'm always going to give everything I can, because I believe in us. Because somebody had to feel that way about me. Even when I was not lovable, they loved me. Even when they didn't see the full potential, they saw that something might be in there, and they waited long enough to work to bring it out. So I just respect y'all and love y'all as well. And I'm going to try my best to stay awake. I was drinking beet juice today, B12 in the beet juice. I'm not going to say the title, or no commercials, unless we're doing commercials for shopfnq.com, flynubianbusiness.com, flynubianmoney.com, Queens 31996. Stay in the mix, subscribe, share, and like. If I end this video and I got less than like 15 subscribers, I'll be like, man, please, can y'all just help us out? This is not the new media. It's the true media. Too much fake news out there. They talking about whoever his name is. He ain't even going to be around for long. He ain't even got his original color. You know you a lie when your color ain't even the truth. Sammy Sosa. Let me stop. But yeah, if your color, you don't even have your true color. Like, you're not even the same. Okay. Take care, y'all. It's all love. We're going to gentrify the hood and claim eminent domain, right? And let our people move in. And that speaks to the responsibility to bring it full circle. Me and Frank. It brings it full circle to what Frank was alluding to in the beginning when he talked about people in the Black community who do have significant financial resources and can make paradigm shifts, exponential paradigm shifts, and not just like do good for themselves. I might have the potential to help a few people, but the more I have, I can expand my reach. So somebody who is a billionaire, right, conceding that portion of Frank's point, can have the capability to have exponentially greater impacts if used strategically. So when he's talking about gentrifying his own hood, it does place a charge on those with the means and access to resources to lead the charge to make these changes. He's not talking about the person with no money when he's saying gentrify the hood. It's almost like he's talking to other ballers and ball players and people in position that are going to be able to gentrify the hood so people with more meager means can have opportunity to remain in the communities where they currently reside. So nuance. We don't totally disagree. It's all love. Take care, y'all.